Good morning. It's 10 o'clock. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Board members in attendance are myself, Jerry Sullivan, Mike Harris, Secretary, Charlene O'Brien, Treasurer, Kelly Harrell, Director, and Bertha Corley, Director. Okay.
And I'm going to read the Code of Conduct. We have a Code of Conduct that we read before each meeting. Camp Ranch Acres POA Code of Conduct for meeting attendees. To ensure productive and respectful property owners associated in meetings, all members in attendance are expected to adhere to the following Code of Conduct. Purpose of participation. Members who wish to speak must address the POA board directly and limit their comments to matters related to Camp Ranch Acres POA business and community interests. Respectful communication. Personal attacks, inflammatory remarks, or disruptive behavior directed at individuals, whether board members, property owners, or others, will not be tolerated. Enforcement. Any member who fails to comply with this code of conduct may be asked to leave the meeting at the discretion of the board.
All right. Can we move on to the approval of the minutes from the last meeting? Has everybody had a chance to read them?
I have. They're quite lengthy.
Yes, they are. I would ask, does anybody have any changes that they would like to?
I haven't read them.
Okay.
I can read them real quick.
Well, if you would, please.
I haven't seen them. I haven't gotten them.
Well, I think Mike should read them.
Yeah, that's why she reads that. Didn't we establish this almost a year ago? I believe Joe Chamberson suggested that we send out an email prior to so that you guys can go ahead and get that process taken care of. I believe it takes almost 15, 20 minutes each week.
I'm going to review the meeting minutes.
Jerry, I'm sorry. Jerry, do you remember that happening? It was almost a year ago, Joe. Do you remember? It was just something about Charlene reads.
I did. To be honest with you, Cody, I don't remember that. Okay. Okay.
Understood. But is that a suggestion you'd be open to putting out to the board?
Sure.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes.
Call to order and roll call. The meeting was called to order by Chairman Jerry Sullivan at 9:02 a.m. Board members present: Jerry Sullivan, Chairman; Charlene O'Brien, Treasurer; Mike Harris, Secretary; Kelly Harrell, Board Member; Bertha Corley, Board Member. Code of Conduct Review. Mike Harris read aloud the CBA Code of Conduct for meeting attendees prior to the start of business. All attendees were reminded that the Code of Conduct applies to both board members and property owners. It requires respectful communication, prohibits personal attacks or disruptive behavior, and clarifies the personal or sensitive matters should be brought before the board through an executive session rather than public discussion. Approval of previous minutes. The minutes from August 3rd, 2025 meeting were read by Mike Harris and presented for approval. Discussion of the 8/3/25 minutes as presented. Changes requested by Jerry Sullivan, including changing SHECO designation from mowing to lighting, adding old business that Kelly Harrell is not eligible for re-election at the next election. Change road report to state that drainage ditch work on Lakeside is not complete. Request for correction by Kelly Harrell. Wants to change the wording on Bertha Corley's election to indicate she was elected to fill a vacant position. Asked if we aren't putting the information regarding who made the motion, the person who seconded, and the vote on each motion delineated in the meeting minutes. Kelly also asked if there was no longer summarization of what the property owners state when they speak. Mike responded that he recommends not summarizing property owners' words because it is open to interpretation, and states items have showed up on meeting minutes in the past that have not been supported by the audio recording. The board discussion continues with board members agreeing that there should be a short synopsis included. Discussion reading 5/29/2025 meeting minutes. Before the vote to approve the 8/3 minutes, Jerry Sullivan discussed the May 29th meeting minutes. Not available at the last meeting. Kelly stated that she would have them available at this meeting. Kelly had presented a copy to the board members. Jerry Sullivan stated he felt that some important things had been left out of the minutes. Kelly provided to the board. Items left out included the primary purpose of the meeting was to vote on 3 ballots. The vote to attempt to remove Jerry and Charlene from the board, and the ballot about whether the property owners wanted to be a corporation or incorporated. Jerry read meeting minutes provided by Kelly for the May 29th meeting. Jerry Sullivan then read meeting minutes constructed from audio recording of the meeting by Mike Harris. Kelly stated the time that it was adjourned needed to be added to 6:27 p.m. Motion to accept 5:29 meeting. Motion by Charlene O'Brien, seconded by Kelly Harrell. The vote was unanimous approval. Treasurer's report. Treasurer Charlene O'Brien pointed out this wasn't on the agenda, then reported the following. Beginning cash on hand, $15,522.26. Income, $0. Expenses, $3,164.17. Hog Heaven Clubhouse for rental for meeting, $50. Texas Materials, Road Materials, $1,155.03. Trinity County Culvert for Highline Road, $466.14. Great American Insurance Company, Director and Officers Insurance 2025-2026 was $1,493. Balance after expenses, $12,358.09. A new EIN has been obtained for the association. Motion to accept the treasurer's report. Motion by Bertha Corley, seconded by Kelly Harrell. Unanimous approval. Follow-up discussion regarding Kelly Rom's request for reimbursement of expenses. Jerry Sullivan stated he made an incorrect statement at the last meeting indicating that he disagreed with some of the expenses submitted. He states he reviewed the postage expenses and found them appropriate for the ballot mailing. Charlene stated that some of the county filings that the chair asked for reimbursement are not supported. The association does not have the originals of those filings and needs that paperwork. Motion to approve $167 supported by documentation to Kelly Rom. Motion by Jerry Sullivan, seconded by Kelly Harrell. Unanimous approval. Discussion, reimbursement, request by Mike Harris for doing business as filing and management certificate filings. Motion to approve payment of $58, supported by documentation of Mike Harris. Motion by Jerry Sullivan, second by Kelly Harrell. Unanimous approval. Next discussion, reimbursement request by Charlene O'Brien for Chico Boat Ramp Light for June and July to the amount of $19.50. And shoreline fee to TRA for the year 2025 for $13.50. Name reservation for the Texas Secretary of State for $40, and July 9 USPS for $3.15 for postage for IRS mailing. Total reimbursement $76.15. Motion to approve by Jerry Sullivan, seconded by Kelly. Unanimous approval. Road report. Chairman Jerry Sullivan provided road report. Highline Road culvert was replaced, but that work is not completed, and there are some corrections that needed to be made due to initial settling after rain. The rain pointed out to us that the ditch line is in some spots completely filled, so the water doesn't go down into the culvert, which is causing some road issues. So there will be future road work to clean out the ditch. Jerry Sullivan states we are trying to catch up on road repairs, culvert, and ditch work that has been neglected for years, so please have a little patience while we get there. We had bought a 30-inch long section of 18-inch diameter culvert pipe from the county, and that County Commissioner Tommy Park sourced at cost for the association and delivered for free, all of which saved the association about $300 in costs. Work continues on Lakeside Drive ditches with excess dirt reused to fill low areas. Additional issues. Discussion, Mike Harris stated there was an issue with the mailbox. The current address is not associated with an actual property and is not a P.O. box, that it cannot be signed up for informed delivery. Jerry Sullivan points out registered mail can't be delivered to that address. Mike Harris states that this can affect procedure and compliance for records requests and other legal requests. Jerry Sullivan states the address is 125, but that doesn't actually exist, and that's an issue. Mike Harris presented information about how to open a P.O. box and what is available and cost for the Onalaska post office. Property owner Tim O'Brien asked if we live in Trinity County and pay taxes in Trinity County, why are we looking at a P.O. box in Onalaska? Mike stated that he had talked with Onalaska because it was closer. Jerry stated we should have a motion to approve renting, but leave the option to choose location. Jerry states the motion is to purchase or rent a post office box with location to be determined based on availability. Charlene O'Brien asked about the requirements for a P.O. box, stating that it asks for a physical address, which brings us back to the same issue. Mike Harris states he discussed that with the post office already. Charlene states it looks like someone will have to give their physical address. Mike Harris clarified that as a point of contact, it's different from the mail going directly to the board member's address. Charlene states the point of contact should be the chair, Jerry Sullivan. Mike Harris agreed. A motion accept the expense of the post office box for informed delivery and delivery of the CBAPOA mail. Motion by Charlene, seconded by Bertha. Unanimous approval on the vote. Charlene, I'd like to amend my motion to the Trinity County Post Office. Mike Harris states he will check with Trinity and try to get the larger box there. Amended motion was not re-voted on. The discussion, Mike Harris reminded the board at the last meeting, Charlene O'Brien had handed out a list of the board of directors' duties and responsibilities, stating it would be discussing this at the meeting. Jerry Sullivan stated he had reviewed. Does anyone have any issues? Charlene states there had been a typo to correct, and she needed to change the date for the November meetings listed on the document. Motion, approve the duties and responsibilities document. Motion by Kelly Harrell, seconded by Mike Harris. Vote unanimous approval. Discussion. Mike Harris brings up the domain previously secured, domain names previously secured by the association, CBAS-POA.net, is not the one that he has access to and has not been granted access to. This domain name is not in control of the board. The other issues is the CBAS. The S is signifying subdivision, and that is attached to an entity that was attempted to incorporate that no longer exists. Mike Harris states Jen Harris has volunteered and then asked Jen to explain. Jen Harris stated that she has a domain name that has been used for many years in the past and still has it registered for 10 years. She states she is willing to transfer full ownership to the association, and the association will own it and not have to renew it for 10 years. Mike Harris states it will be free to the association, and then the site is hosted by Google Sites, which is free. Jen Harris stated one of the benefits is that this domain name is always at the top of the Google searches, so it will help anyone that searches Camp Ranch Acres. Charlene wanted to clarify Mike Harris is still locked out of the CBASPOA.net domain name. Mike confirmed that he cannot log into that domain account. Motion to accept the proposal to transfer the ownership of CBAPOA.org web address into the ownership of CBAPOA in perpetuity, and that has been paid for the next 10 years, and there is no cost to CBAPOA. Motion by Mike Harris, second by Bertha, unanimous vote. Next discussion, Jerry Sullivan states previous insurance carrier provided a loss run that shows there has been a claim filed with them regarding the lawsuit that was filed against Kelly Harrell and Kelly Rahm regarding incorporation attempt. Our insurance carrier was for CBAPOA. The claim was filed against CBASPOA, and that lawsuit was against two individuals, not the board of CBAPOA. Jerry Sullivan states that he feels it is incumbent upon us to advise the insurance carrier that that claim should not be honored. States that the insurance was for CBAPOA, and the lawsuit is not against CBAPOA. In fact, it is in fact on behalf of CBAPOA, and the insurance carrier should be advised of such. Charlene, it wasn't a valid claim because we cannot find a reference board action. There wasn't board discussion, it was not in the minutes, wasn't voted on, so it wasn't a board action. We looked into it. Kelly Harrell, so I beg to differ with that in the sense that Kelly Harrell and I were working as board members for CBAPOA at the time. That's what was done while we were board members under CBAPOA. Jerry Sullivan, but it wasn't an authorized action authorized by the board. Next motion, authorize communication to Cover Wallet with the Board of Camp Ranch Acres, POA's opinion suit. Discussion was about the claim is not valid. Motion by Jerry Sullivan. Tim O'Brien stated, property owner speaks up, voicing concerns about having a vote when some board members need to recuse themselves. There were not enough board members after recusals to have a quorum before the vote. Jerry Sullivan, Kelly Harrell, and Mike Harris recused. The motion was canceled by Jerry Sullivan. Charlene O'Brien states, well, the bottom line is that I had to get director and officer insurance. It was brought to my attention that there was a claim with Cover Wallet. It was never discussed, or it was never disclosed to the board. I've been on this board for a year. We never discussed that there was a claim being filed with Cover Wallet. It was news to me when I kept getting turned down by everyone for our directors and officers of insurance. And it's through Great American Insurance Company now that I was advised to address the Cover Wallet claim. So our current directors and officers insurance has instructed me to address that claim. Jen Harris, property owner, asked question of Charlene O'Brien, is one of our duties as treasurer to secure and obtain director's liability insurance? Charlene replied that it was. Jen Harris stated, it seems that this falls within your duties then. Discussion, Charlene brings topic to discussion about where are the originals for the Trinity County amendment filings. Kelly Harrell states you would need to ask the person that filed them. Charlene states that as secretary, she maintained all originals in a binder. Kelly states she spoke to Kelly Rom, who states she turned over everything. There is discussion that Kelly Rom has not responded to various requests for documents and or access to documents. And Jerry Sullivan states that he will go by her house to ask her personally. Bylaw committee discussion. Kay Sullivan gives a report on activities of bylaw committee. There was one meeting in August. Kay Sullivan stated that she had sent a draft of changes to the board, had not heard anything back, was interested in the board, if the board had feedback before they it's brought to the property owners for feedback. Kelly states she would like to get clarification on whether using the term property owner or lot owner. Jerry reinforces that this is a draft. Mike Harris reads proposed changes regarding commercial usage of properties. And Mike reiterates that this is a working draft. Property owners will have opportunities for feedback prior to any vote. Sections that changes are being worked on include the section that speaks to CBAPOA being single-family residential only, not commercial. The current bylaws currently restrict all commercial activity. This would be proposed to be changed to allowing certain exceptions and or wording to allow limited types of business-related activity. Mike Harris states that proposed changes will eventually be posted on the association website for feedback. Charlene has wording for a list of activities that would be restricted, no commercial activity. Charlene O'Brien has wording for a list of activities that would be restricted. No commercial activity is permitted on any property within CBAPOA subdivision that involves customers and or employees physically coming to or going through or coming from the premises. Additionally, the storage of inventory, materials, or commercial equipment is prohibited. Next proposed change is to restrict rentals from within the subdivision to long-term rentals only. Minimum a lease of 12 months in one family with maximum of 2 people per bedroom. Bertha proposes striking the occupancy limit. Kelly Harrell brings up point of how can we monitor and enforce this? Are we supposed to go door to door or have neighbors spying on each other? Mike Harris states that he agrees this is all very much unenforceable. Kay Sullivan states that if you go and rent something on vacation, they can tell you what types of restrictions. Kelly Harrell asked, how would anyone know? It comes down to the members will be policing each other, and that's not what we want. Kelly Harrell makes the point that anything added to the bylaws would need to be enforceable and what the penalties would be, and this is not realistic with the proposed changes. Jerry Sullivan suggests removal of the occupancy limits. Bertha Corley had already suggested striking this prior to the discussion. Mike Harris invites discussion about short-term rentals. Proposed wording will be all rental or lease agreements for properties within Camp Ranch Acres POA must be long-term only with a minimum lease of 12 months. Rentals must be to a single family only. Short-term renters such as Vrbo, Airbnb, and other services are not allowed. All renters or lessors must be informed of and follow CBAPOA bylaws. Charlene O'Brien adds a proposal that contact information be limited to CBAPOA. Mike Harris reads proposed changes. All private driveways and walkways that cross drainage ditches along dedicated roadways or streets within Camp Ranch Acres must include properly sized ditches and culverts to ensure unimpeded water flow and prevent flooding. All culverts must be constructed from materials approved for such use by State of Texas and Trinity County. The minimum culvert size will be 12 inches for private driveways and 18 inches for crossings underneath roadways or streets. Kelly makes suggestions for wording or compliant with current state regulations. Charlene O'Brien suggests and or Trinity County and move on. Mike Harris states the bylaw committee will rework it. Mike reads proposed changes to paragraph B10. Change to no hunting shall be allowed in CBA POA subdivision. Mike Harris reads proposed changes. All streets, avenues, alleys, and walkways showing on the recorded map or plat of Camp Ranch Acres POA as filed with the county clerk of Trinity County, Texas, are and shall remain privately maintained by the Property Owners Association, CBAPOA. These private roads and walkways are for the exclusive use and enjoyment of CBA property owners and their invited guests. Public access is not permitted unless authorized by the POA board or otherwise required by law. Mike Harris reads proposed changes to C3. Camp Ranch Acres CBA POA is a legally formed, unincorporated nonprofit association under the laws of the state of Texas. The annual meeting of the association will be held on Saturday of Memorial Day weekend, observed every year. Board elections will be conducted during this annual meeting to maintain a 5-member board of directors. The board shall consist of 5 directors, all of whom must be lot owners within Camp Ranch Acres subdivision. Directors shall serve staggered 2-year terms with 3 directors elected in 1 year and 2 directors elected the following year. Directors may be reelected for an additional 2-year term. After serving a total of 4 consecutive years, a director must take a 1-year break before becoming eligible for reelection. From among 5 board members, a board shall elect a chairman who shall vote only in the event of a tie. The board shall also elect a secretary and a treasurer from among the 5 members, if deemed necessary by a majority of the vote of the board. The roles of the secretary and the treasurer may be held by the same individuals. These officers shall constitute the representative governing body of the subdivision. Kelly Harrell suggested to put Camp Ranch Acres Subdivision Property Association at the front of the paragraph. states we can't form a new entity. We can state doing business as instead. She also states that the treasurer and secretary can't be the same person, referring to the Unincorporated Nonprofit Association Act, TUNA. Mike Harris states that that is not the case. Kelly states she will send him the citation for that code. Kelly also states in regards to election of board directors, the Texas Property Code says they don't necessarily have to be lot owners, so I would ask to look into that as well. Mike Harris reads proposed change vacancies. If a board member resigns with fewer than 6 months remaining in their term, the board may appoint a qualified replacement. If no suitable candidate is available, a special election will be held within 45 days of the resignation date to fill the candidacy. If no candidate comes forward to fill the position, a former board member may temporarily serve in that role until the next election, at which time the membership shall elect a replacement. Written notice for each meeting to elect a new board of directors of said subdivision shall be mailed to each lot owner at the last known address at least 20 days before the date of the meeting. Kelly Harrell suggests removing the word temporarily. Charlene O'Brien expresses her disapproval, states that this is handcuffing the board. She does not agree with the 6-month stipulation. The board agrees that the membership will decide. Kay Sullivan states she thinks it would be it should be specified that the notice should go out to the property owner's last address given to the POA, not necessarily what is in the tax rolls. Mike Harris reads proposed changed. At any election, each property owner shall be entitled to cast one vote per paragraph. Yeah, that probably needs to be a change. Votes can be cast in person, by mail, electronically, via. Oh, okay. Hang on one second here. Mike Harris reads proposed change. Any election, each property owner shall be entitled to cast one vote per property. Votes must be cast in person, by mail, electronically, via email, or by properly executed proxy vote. Mike Harris comments that Texas Property Code 209-00592 allows the property owner to sign over their voting rights to another person. A proxy must be in writing and signed by the property owner with this owner's signature. An individual serving as a proxy must not be a board member or director of the association to avoid conflicts of interest. Kelly points out we need to be consistent with the wording of lot owner or property owner. Mike Harris states that there is a second set of proposed changes. Should we read them now or defer until next meeting? Jerry Sullivan agrees, states we need to defer the additional at this time. Tim O'Brien suggests that these proposals should be posted on the website and solicit feedback from property owners. Mike Harris needs 2 weeks to post on the website. Jerry Sullivan encouraged the property owners to comment and provide feedback. Joe Chambers, property owner, encourages the proposed bylaw changes are evaluated through the perspective of how are you going to enforce that. Open discussion, nobody volunteered to speak at the last meeting. Motion to adjourn, motion by Kelly Harrell, second by Charlene O'Brien, unanimous approval, meeting adjourned at 11:05 a.m.
Does anybody have any changes to this other than typos that were noted?
The one it should say that I beg to differ, it should say Kelly Rom, not Kelly Harrell.
Yeah, I caught that.
And also, it didn't say when we talked about our next meeting.
Mm-hmm.
That's missing from here.
Okay. Okay. We can add that.
So add next meeting. And where exactly, what was the next one, Kelly?
It was on, let me see if I can find it. Or do you have it there,
It
Kelly?
doesn't have a page number on it, but
Yeah.
it's where we're talking about the
It's
whole lawsuit.
1, 2, 3, it's 4 pages from the back, Mike, and it's
From the back.
from the back and the third paragraph from the end.
Yeah,
It
if
says-
it's gonna be that long, maybe we should number the pages going forward and make it.
Yeah, I thought I did.
Yeah.
I apologize.
So it says, she says she begs to differ with that in the sense that Kelly Rom, should say Kelly Rom. Should say Ron. Yeah,
Okay.
okay. Anybody have anything else? Do I have a motion to approve?
I have something. The wording where I'm referred to, talking about the businesses and the bylaws and, that I had a list, that was not my point. My point was, we need to be specific. I even brought up the fact that if we had Facebook porch pickup, that would constitute, we have someone coming to our house to buy something from us, and that wouldn't be allowed. That doesn't reflect what my point was. My point was that it needs to be very specific because it can get caught up and doing things like Facebook porch pickup where people are coming and buying something from you and giving you money. That's a business. So we have to be careful with the wording of that. Was my point. That doesn't reflect what my point was.
So you can let some people slide, but not others.
That's exactly what we don't want to do. That was my point. And that paragraph doesn't reflect that as my point. The second one with the rental contact information to the board, that was strictly for emergency purposes. It's the only reason that I thought that that might be a good idea if someone was renting a property, if there was an emergency and we needed to contact them directly.
I do remember that discussion.
And that's all I've got.
Okay. I'll make these changes and get them out to the board members.
Okay,
Good deal.
all right.
Thanks, Mike.
Moving on, treasurer's report.
Jerry, we didn't accept the minutes as amended.
Well, I don't think we should until he does it
Oh, okay.
and submits it to us. Okay.
Gotcha.
And so we're not going to accept these minutes until the next meeting, is what it
And,
is.
yeah,
Okay.
and it's just a couple of changes, so.
Okay. Treasurer's report.
Yes, there are expenses that were mentioned in the last meeting that were actually had gone out and had not cleared the bank yet, so you're gonna hear those again because they have actually cleared the bank. This is as of September 2025. Our beginning cash on hand is $12,804.24. We had 0 deposits. Our total expenses were $943.48. Sheco billed us in error $25. That has been corrected and has been credited on October's bill. The Highline Culvert, $466.14 cleared the bank. Great American Insurance Company, due to a clerical error, billed us $452.34. And the time it took them to clear it up, we did issue that payment. That also has been refunded to us and will show in October's deposits for Wood Forest National Bank. So our ending cash on hand and checking account is $11,860.76.
Do I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
Bertha makes motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Kelly, seconds. And vote.
Aye.
Road report.
I have expenses that have been submitted for reimbursement from Mike Harris for management. filing, OPR, open record recording. He's got all the appropriate paperwork attached. The amount is $33. This was for the correction of the management certificate.
Okay.
The new mailing address, P.O. Box 1837, and the new web address.
Oh, you have to sign it. This will be all right?
Was the web address donated or was that missing?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, so just to make sure that the transcript AI doesn't reflect, you actually just said that that payment included his website.
What I said was,
Ma'am, I'm just telling you what I heard.
what I said was,
$33 payment was including the website.
please let me finish.
Is
What
that
I
correct?
said was, the corrections, the updates on the management certificate included the new website address and the
I
new
stand
mailing
corrected, you are
address.
correct. Thank you.
Thank you.
You need to sign on that.
No, you can't sign it, you've already signed it.
Already signed it.
Did you? Okay.
She's efficient.
Yeah, okay.
All right, that's all I got.
All right. Moving on to the road report. We still have some work to do on the culvert on the Highline Road, and we will get that done before very long. And then we need to do repairs on the Highline Road section going up past where we did the culvert repair. We have some potholes, and we've lost most of the road surface as far as the asphalt goes. I've talked with Tommy Park, and we can purchase the material like he used out here on Camp Branch Road,
The oil sand?
the oil sand material, for between $1,600 and $1,800 per belly dump, and Tommy Parks would donate the transportation, so we're just paying for the oil sand material, and I'm thinking we're going to need 2 loads, and he says that we need to get it down before the weather temperature goes below 50 degrees Fahrenheit, so we're going to need to do it here pretty quickly. So I would like to make a motion that we purchase 2 loads, which would be approximately $3,600 to make those road repairs. Okay? Yes.
So the oil sand, is that the same material that's used from where you come in off the highway down the road to Camp Ranch Acres entrance? Is that there were 2 areas repaired out there on the road recently? Is that what you're talking about, the material?
That's correct.
Okay.
That is the material.
So that's
This material, as it wears down, and if it starts, potholes start, the beginning of potholes start, then you can take and regrade it and repack it and smooth it back out. So it's reusable in that aspect. And I think everybody's seen what it looks like over here. If you go over into Hog Heaven, they've been using it for some repairs, and it's doing a pretty good job. Okay, so I would like to make a proposal to purchase the 2 loads. Do I have a second to do that?
I second.
Second. Okay. Can we
Aye.
have a vote?
Aye.
Okay.
Jerry, I also want to add that oil sand, more often it repairs itself just with the traffic that goes over it.
Yes.
That's what Hog Heaven has found, and that's what they've also, in inspecting it out here, that's what they found. Very low maintenance.
Travis?
Did y'all see them apply that and what machinery they use to compact it and do it properly?
Did you?
Did they just use a regular tractor? Did they have any kind of heavy equipment? Because, you know, the way they do it, and then if y'all try to do it with a couple, you know, home tractors, and it doesn't pack down, have y'all ever seen how that stuff gets slung up on vehicles and the tar and the stuff that gets on the vehicles if it doesn't set properly? I'm just concerned about that.
Have you seen how they do it?
No, I have not.
Has anyone here seen how they do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a big tractor.
Yeah, they use a road grader. They put it on with a road grader, but they don't compact it. They rely on the traffic to compact it.
Okay.
So,
Because if they come with a belly dump and they just drop it, then you're hustling to try to get it in place, and they just take that grader.
that was gonna be my point. You're gonna need a couple, 3, 4 tractors to do that. 'Cause I think one, it would wear somebody's tractor out.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we're going to have to coordinate it.
I wonder if Tommy would have a grader available.
Well, I will ask him and see as part of the planning.
Is that more expensive than the cold asphalt?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Are we gonna address the ditches, because there's no point to fix that road if we're not gonna address the drainage, because all the product will end up in the ditches like it always does.
You're correct, and that's part of the road repairs that we have to do before we bring the material in. Okay. Anybody else? I will check with Tommy on the possibility of him providing a road grader to take and spread that material. And he had told me that I need to coordinate with him to make sure when we're planning on doing it, he has adequate time to make sure that it happens. So that'll be part of those discussions. Okay.
Can I add to that? I believe Tommy also said the Trinity County is using that material a lot now, and they used it between here and Trinity. There's been several areas that are newly paved, and that's the material they used. And when both times they were adding the material out here on the Camp Ranch going out to the highway, I was through there when they were spreading that, and that's kind of what caught my eye of like, that looks really good for us, because there's just very little equipment that they were using out there. It was like, we can do that. And so I really like the idea. I've seen it. I've seen them spreading it, and Tommy Park said Trinity County was using it extensively like they used it out here.
Okay. Moving on to old business. Does anybody have any old business they want to discuss at this time?
Those ditches up on the next side.
Yeah, we still got work to do there. Yeah, okay. We're not through.
All right.
Yes. My machine has been having some repairs done to it. Okay. Once we get that taken care of, then I'll get back in there and work on that. Fortunately, we haven't had a lot of rain that's caused us any major problems. Of course, the forecast is that may change here real quick. Okay. New business. Move on to new business.
We're gonna do new business first, or do a secretary's report. I've got a few items to mention.
Okay, let's move on with
things.
Go.
Just a quick secretary's report. As we said, I sent out an email for the updated website. So the website is going to be www.cbapoa.org. And the website has been completely updated. If you want to take a look, feel free to email me. Our contact information is on there for all the board members. Each board member now has an individual email. There's going to be a calendar up there. There's announcements. We've got some pictures that the residents have submitted from around Camp Ranch Acres. Just anything going on in Camp Ranch Acres, send us the pictures. We'll get them up there. It's as we said, the domain name was donated by Jen and myself. Jen had maintained it before, the www.cbapoa.org, and that is it was. The domain cost was covered for 10 years. That was donated to Camp Ranch Acres. So that's free for the next 10 years. And then we're using Google Sites to host the website, which is free. So we've got a free website for the next 10 years, and I will be keeping that up to date. Right now, it's important to put the www in front of the www.CBAPOA. And sometimes and it's not anything, it's a Google Sites issue. And sometimes if you don't put the 3 W's in front, it doesn't take you to the site properly. And that's a Google thing. That's nothing that we can do or we can get fixed. So if you're not quite getting there, you need the three W's in there. So that was taken care of. I was down to Trinity Post Office. We now have a POA. We now have a PO box for the POA that's also listed on the website. It's 187 PO Box 187, Trinity, Texas 75862. Our same zip code.
1837.
I'm sorry, 1837. PO Box 1837. It's on the website. And that's our official email address. So, like I said, the last meeting, the advantage of that is we can get the informed consent sent to the board members, and then if there's registered mail or anything like that, it's all official. So after doing the website change and the address change, I had to go down to the county clerk and do an updated management certificate. And that management certificate has been updated to reflect our new website and our new POA address. Now that is a requirement for under Texas Property Code, the state of Texas, to have that done to just ensure that our association is within compliance, and that has been completed. And that's it for Secretary's report.
Okay. All right, now can we move on to new business? Okay, under new business, I had invited Ben Stubbs to come in and to give us a presentation on his concept that he has on doing some repairs to the drainage on Little Lake. So, Ben, if you wouldn't mind, could you give us a synopsis of that? And if you can stand up over here if you like. And before he begins, I'd just like to make one statement. There's been some misinformation going around that me, my family, and my friends would like to see Little Lake drained. That's far from the truth. We love Little Lake. It's an asset to our community, and I know a lot of people who live around it use it, and they benefit from it. And all we want is for the Little Lake to be safe and not to be a threat to the community. That's all. And like I say, Ben has some concepts that he'd like to present to us.
I've looked at getting a few pieces of 60-inch culvert as recommended by a contractor. I don't think that's going to work simply based on cost. We measured to see how long it would probably need to be. As far as I'm aware, they come in 20-foot sections. Do you know of any longer?
I don't know for certain. We can check into it, Ben, but I don't know it right offhand.
20-foot sections are around $2,500 a piece. We would need 4 of them, so pretty pricey, pretty quick. That would be a temporary fix or a patch. As the lake currently sits, I don't expect any issue from the storm tonight. It should be fine, no problem. Eventually what'll happen is it'll drain back far enough in through the spillway, and then the lake will drop to essentially nothing. But that could be 5 years from now, could be a decade, who knows? I was looking for different ideas. That's the one that I had come up with to try and see before I had surgery. I just now am able to get back around and try. Based on cost, I don't think that's going to pan out. Just the way that is.
Mm-hmm.
Any ideas? Go for it.
It's my understanding you've been talking with my son, Steve Corley, about the spillway.
Yeah, that's the plan that we had looked at a few months back. I was going to meet with him before I went into the surgery. So that didn't pan out. I looked with Kelly Rom a couple days ago, and it's 60 feet through the spillway to where it currently sits, probably 80 feet total to be safe. That way it doesn't just blow out further and come back. Let alone the fill to fill it all in. But okay. That was what we had come up with.
Do you know what happened to the pipe that's got plugged up that kept the lake at a permanent level?
That was way before me. I've never personally seen it. From what I've heard and what TCEQ has told me, it was a relatively small pipe, and it had compromise, and then they concreted it in. From what I've been told, it's somewhere near the middle of the dam. I've never personally seen it.
I think you can see it sticking up.
You should be able to see it now.
Right now. It's exposed. It is exposed.
You should be able to see it clearly now.
Oh,
But it doesn't matter.
yeah, it's compromised.
They went out there and they concreted it.
Yeah.
I don't know why they.
When I was told it was compromised, so they just concreted and plugged. That was decades ago. I have no idea.
I've not been here but 5 years, and of course, as everybody knows, my house was terribly flooded. But the way, the level of it right now, that's not acceptable.
Pick your poison. I mean, TCQ gives me a couple options. Nobody likes one of them. So, yeah.
So it's kind of rocking a hard place then.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, pick your poison. You want it low, or do you want it on? Which one?
If the community wants the little lake to stay, then we gotta come together as a community and help donate to the cause to at least put a patch on it to where you can have the water in the lake but not flood your house.
Can I ask you,
Remember,
what
this
were the
wasn't the
options
only
that
house
they
in
gave?
play.
I don't know what this.
Okay. The handful of options that are available is one, completely drain the lake and remove the dam.
Okay.
And then have it certified that it won't retain any water, blah, blah, blah. Two, get it appropriately repaired and go through and have a hydrologist confirm that it would be to spec. I had talked with the contractor and they had recommended 60 inch just to be on the safe side.
When you say that, I'm not understanding, is it?
5 foot tall pipe.
If you put in the culvert, right, is it gonna regulate it at a level? Is that-
Yeah,
is that the-
Depending on how.
Depending on where we set it, it would stay
Okay,
at
so
that
it would
level.
be set to regulate it at a level, I
Yeah.
understand that, and that's the $10,000 for the
Yeah.
parking, right?
Yeah, that would be $10,000 just for the pipe.
Okay, and did they estimate like the full project?
That was just our guess of, because it's $2,500 a piece. There's gonna be some shipping, maybe you have to get with somebody and get that taken. But at the end of the day, that's $10,000.
Just for the equipment, I'm talking about somebody to actually put it in and.
Yeah.
and-
That's him doing it himself, he got it.
Correct.
An estimate at that point, earlier before it
Okay.
started, about $40,000.
Yeah, it was around $30,000 to $40,000 to do it correctly.
Gotcha,
So we're talking a third of the total price for a patch.
gotcha.
And that's just making basically a straight pipe.
Straight
Which is where
pipe.
the current
And you're
drainage
only gonna see if they make a 90, I would assume they make a 90, and do something, or maybe concrete wall it right there to get it to go that way.
There's a connector that they make that you could use,
So
okay?
they do make it
Yeah, it's kind of like,
90,
well, it's
45 or something.
It's like a box and it's got two connections on it, okay?
Oh, yeah, I've seen that, from road crews.
Yeah, that's what you're looking at, okay?
Gotcha.
Okay.
Well, you don't have to go through the opening that we got now. You
Correct.
can go directly into the center and empty it into the little turtle pond.
No,
You're compromising the dam at that point.
no.
if you do that.
TCQ was very adamant, no on that.
What would be the difference? It's compromised now.
Technically, the dam is not compromised at this moment.
Where it is right now is a spillover
The
point.
spillway is compromised. Two
The
separate.
water gets up that high, then spills over.
So where would where did TCEQ make a recommendation on where to put the pipe? Would it be in the area right now where
In the
it's?
area where the spillway currently is, I can do mostly whatever I want over there. To put it in the middle, I would have to drain the lake completely, bring it in, break it open, put in the pipe, refill it, compact it all, and then hope and pray that it doesn't fall apart. So
Yeah.
that's a pretty big no.
Going back,
Not worth that.
Yeah, that's not for you.
No.
going back years ago, the TCEQ, it told the previous owners to put that spillway where it was so it wouldn't compromise the dam. I do know that, okay? Yeah, and that's in line with what you're saying, yes.
If I may, we've spoken, I believe there was a misconception, and there's no disrespect to you, sir. I understand the information that provided was not conveyed correct to you. It seems that there was a sentence that was left out, maybe you can highlight that in the TQQ report that we had read through, where it stated exactly what the definition of the dam that's in danger or.
This dam will always be a high-risk dam. It doesn't matter what I do, it doesn't matter what any of us do. As long as the dam is standing, it will always be that. The reason for that definition is because people live behind it.
The dam is not structurally compromised.
It's not structural, you can make it out of concrete, it would still have the same definition. The only real
I mean, I've
issue.
watched our drainage ditch go from this wide.
The drainage is certainly something that can be addressed, but I
Yeah.
think the misconception that the dam is going to
After
break or
Harvey-
be membrane, that's not the case. The dam has no structural problems.
Oh, I realize.
After Harvey, I put in that ditch because I saw that it couldn't drain quick enough. I just did it on a whim because something's better than nothing. I saw that it couldn't drain, and that drained. It was sacrificial, but I would much prefer sacrifice that versus other things. The dam. The dam fails, everybody's screwed.
I've never listened to.
Also, needs to be
So
known that
the-
if the dam goes away, because we are in a watershed, the water comes up way above our
Yeah, the
subdivision.
water will flow through there with or without the dam.
So the houses on the other side of the dam will flood anyways if that dam goes away. So it acts as a barrier
It's a
If you
retention
don't know
wall.
anything about watersheds, I highly suggest that you research that, because that's what's happened to a lot of our properties. The water is coming down, it's silting in the little lake, which is causing it to not hold as much water as what it used to, because it's silted in. Now's a good time to go in there with your buckets and everything, and start digging up some of that, dirt around your property, if you have waterfront property, to, kind of displace some of that dirt, so that the water will stay in there.
After
But there's-
Harvard, we got a lot of silt through.
Yes,
So if the dam went away, and that's not what I want, I
Yeah,
want
go
the dam to be there. The lake is incredible for the community, it's beautiful. But if the dam went away, I just question Kelly's point, like, you would have, the dam would go away, and then there would be a ditch down into where the old turtle pond is, and then the water would flow through down into the canal that goes out to the lake. So any amount of water that comes down through there would go down through the turtle pond and out, now that the new culvert's there.
Just like it was before the dam
And
was there.
so there's no flooding. If it was gone, there would be no flooding risk to the community. I just want to point that out.
Well,
if you get through that pipe, it will go, water will go somewhere. We
How high do you
saw
think
what
we are
water
compared to
did
there?
can we,
in 2024. That water got angry, and it's gonna go, and some of you people down there, that it was coming in the front of your houses, the Cravies saying that it's coming in the front of their house. It's because the watershed, the water goes where it wants to.
There's a good
If we
drop
take out
between
that, if he takes out that dam.
Yeah, and that's my
And just
point.
has a little spillway to go into that little bitty, whatever it was that y'all built over there, into the lake, and the lake is full, it's gotta go somewhere.
Alright.
So where's it gonna go?
So-
It's gonna go right into y'all's houses up
So
there.
my original question was going to be where the spillway is through there, and that's where the 60-inch
That's
pipe.
the current water flow.
Kind of water
Messing
flow.
with that, TCQ would have some very, choice words.
So the pipe wouldn't replace that. It would go.
it would go
Correct.
in there.
It would go. Yeah, that's what I mean. It goes in there, and then it gets closed, and then
Correct.
you have it drained.
Correct.
And then
sorry to cut you off. Do you have an engineer on board with you?
The contractor has an engineer, yeah.
Okay, because it's my understanding that no matter what happens, if you take a bucket of dirt out of that lake, an engineer has got to stamp it and send it to TCEQ, and
They take
TCEQ.
all the dirt out of the lake, I want. That doesn't involve an engineer. Modifying the dam involves an engineer.
Or that spillway there, okay.
Spillway is a little bit of a gray area. Modifying the dam 100%
Yes,
involves an engineer.
yes,
That's why cutting it open, not happening.
right.
The other thing I wanted to add is, I don't know if anyone is aware, there are natural springs underneath that lake. That it's always gonna have water coming in there, no matter what you do. There's nothing that you can do about that. There are natural springs underneath Little Lake.
There's about 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
Several of them that I know were there, they don't exist. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's a couple. It ultimately doesn't make much of a difference as far as water. It's rain flow. It comes through the forest over there, makes it through here, and goes out the big lake.
Okay.
It's been that way.
Elevation change. I'm not sure if we've noticed that.
Yeah, there's a pretty big
Maybe
elevation.
Oh, there's-
going downhill doesn't-
There definitely is. You have a question?
I do. Coming through the spillway, we saw whenever it flooded, when it came through, and it just really created a huge gap going down. Would it help if, like, the guys that have the tractors, if they could go and they could make a proper ditch going down to the turtle pond to handle the water so it's not going just hither and there?
The $40,000 plan was to redo that and make it kind of like a bowl. So it would go out of the culvert and just kind of spread out to slow it down.
Yeah.
He would make it to where it's,
Yeah,
So
spillway.
wouldn't make it up to
signed
the
off on
road,
that?
but pretty much that whole field.
And then have you thought of using like a used tanker instead of the cement culverts? That's what we have going underneath the bridge. And one there has been there for years, and the other one we just put in, and
This was all just a thought.
Okay, well,
Well, I'm just suggesting that we might look into that. That might be cheap.
I doubt it, but we could look, I doubt it, okay.
Because what is the dimensions of that? It was fairly short, lengthwise, wasn't it?
No, it's 40 feet, okay.
So what was the inside diameter?
No, it's like 60 inches, yeah, yeah.
And that was
$5,000, yes.
so.
And then you still,
10,000, that's the same.
and then you still got, well, you gotta have heavier equipment to take and move that around than what you have with these culvert sections.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Anything else before we move on? Charles?
I was just gonna say a couple of things. I really like the lake. I hate to see the lake in the condition it's in. Somebody mentioned, using your tractors to get some of that, dirt when the lake is low like now, and pull it back up onto your land where it came from initially over the years. That's a really good idea. The other thing I was gonna say is I would participate, in maybe one or two of those culverts, of my own self. If we're doing a donation or, we're really committed to trying to A, preserve the lake, B, get some of the dirt out of it while we can. You have the availability to do it and raise up some of the low backs of some of these properties. Bring the level of your backside of your property up, which the lake would hold a little more. Also, I'd like to know where we intend on trying to hold the level of the lake. And the idea that you have of being able to release the water as rain starts or when you're in the rainy season, whatever. But ultimately, we have to ensure that people's homes are safe or dry, and roads don't get washed out. I will share one thing that's really a hindsight thing. It doesn't really matter, but the dam was there before Highline was out there. The roads that are in here were not even in here at all. I rode the bulldozer that made the ditch back here that Roland put in, and all of this in here because he wanted to sell lots. He wanted to make the money. He redesigned all the roads down there from Highline to the lake. That's not the way the roads were initially. He redid them so he could make all them little lots and make money. My point is that the only way to get over to number 2, Camp Ranch Acres 2, was the dam. There was no Highline Road. Everybody went back and forth across the dam. That was the way to get there. And then to get to that, because you get to the end,
Be very pissed about that.
you get to the end of it, you make a right and you drive down into Trinity River because Livingston wasn't out there. That's where Roland and a bunch of family members had gardens out there, and we wanted to go fishing. We had to walk to the Trinity River. Okay? So that said, all that stuff down there was just an afterthought. The dam was there before I was born. Okay? I'm just saying. So that's how come you look at it and you kind of scratch your head. Why wasn't more thought put into it? Who knows? You know, I wasn't around.
My wish is that they didn't let the trees get up, because that always comes up on the reports too.
Yeah,
But that's neither here nor there.
It's kind of like this one back over here. This cup. The last time it was cleaned, I did it myself.
Thanks.
And there was no line behind me, but I'd be willing.
Okay.
And I would just like to see us get some of that dirt out. It would help, I believe.
Okay, thanks, Charles.
May I suggest that a lot of the reason why the Little League is having this year is because of all of the construction around Camp Ranch, going back to the watershed. So now that all the variables are changing, we might need to consider putting in a drainage system to help deflect some of that water around Little Lake, because Little Lake already has its own source. So we need to consider, now homes are getting flooded on the front, which has nothing to do with Little Lake. So you need to propose something to redirect that drainage that's now causing people to flood on the front side. And that would help take some of the pressure off of the lake and the drainage of the lake.
If there is water coming from somewhere else other than
Yeah.
in here.
Have we seen the houses flood at the top of the lake when there was a free flow? I know, is it possible that we
wait.
let the water and not allowing it to push?
If the Little Lake is silted, what's to say that the yards and the homes, because there's been no drainage or issues with the drainage, what's to say that the yards aren't filling up and silted and the elevation changed the elevations, which is causing it to come in the homes? It's just a suggestion. Consider your outside factors of the sources of all the constructions being done. I'm watching homes on the side where there's driveways now on our side. That's through the woods from Travis on the back side of my home. That's creating changes that's affecting us.
Changes are always going on.
Well, they are, so therefore we have to keep up with the changes and maybe come up with proposals to try to address them as they affect us. I've watched now, from the time that we moved in to now, I'm watching overflow of water coming all across my property, where before it kind of had its own drainage. But because of all of the construction going on outside of Camp Branch, it is now affecting our property, which is affecting Little Lake.
Well, you got construction going on out there, and you got the timber company. They cut trees. Whenever
So what do we do to address? Because it is affecting us.
there's very little we can do, honestly, that doesn't cost a lot of money that we can't afford. So anyway, thank you, Ben, for your comments.
Yes, thank you, Ben.
Yes.
Thank you, Ben.
All right.
And I, for one, do not think that you're just over there in your home blowing any of this off. I know that you are not, so thank you.
Yes.
And it's good to see you back on your feet,
Yeah.
Yes.
you know,
It's been several months.
yeah, so good.
I'm only just now able to walk without cane.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Any other new business? David, go
I
ahead.
got two real quick ones,
Yeah.
ain't gonna cost much.
Yeah.
Our little community trailer.
Yeah.
The lights are knackered, okay, it's got four junctions underneath that trailer that control the lights because it was part of the vehicle.
Yeah.
I would like to take all that out and put standard trailer lights on it and move the license plate up to where a regular trailer light would be.
Yeah.
And for $50, I'll do it all.
Okay.
So that, y'all can vote on that. If you wanna do it, I'll get it and I'll take care of it.
Okay.
And the other thing is I just need to replace the solar light up front on our sign.
Yes.
And I've already got one, I'll just take care of it, I just want to let everybody know.
Okay. Good. Okay. Do we have a motion to spend $50 on the?
With regard to the sign, David, how difficult would it be and how expensive would it be to raise that sign about 4 foot? That's at 356.
I guess you could,
The visibility is extremely low. Bertha, I think you mentioned that one time, and I agree. Coming from Trinity, it's
well,
very
that
hard.
light that I want to replace is about 4 foot higher than the sign, that would help.
Well, the sign's low. There's foliage and stuff that's in front of it, and that man's gate.
Well, when I put that sign in there, I concreted those 4x4s that supported in them.
Okay.
So,
Well, in the future, that might be something that we talk about.
yeah, if y'all want to do it, I'll help.
Okay, great.
Well, put your light in and let's see how that works. And if we need to trim some.
Yeah, it's a decorative light that looks like a flame, so it'll be real noticeable.
Okay. And if we need to trim some.
Somebody will call the fire department.
Yeah. If we need to trim some foliage around there, we'll talk to the gentleman there and ask him if it's okay for us to do that. Okay. Do I have a motion from somebody to spend $50 on this?
I make a motion to allow David Simons, property owner, to spend up to $50 to obtain, fix a trailer.
Yes. Do I have a second? All right. Can I have a vote?
Aye.
Passed. Okay.
Who was second on that? Bertha?
Pick one of them.
Bertha, okay. Well, as long as I get somebody on there.
Okay. All right. Any other new business?
I just want to say, although this isn't board business, it does affect the community. We lost 2 members of our community.
Yes.
Wanda Murphy and Teresa Roby have both passed away.
We've actually lost 3. Lenny Pierce passed away recently also.
Okay.
So just have a moment of silence for those 3 folks.
Okay. And going along with that, our community is aging, and I encourage everyone to check on our folks that are elderly and are having some issues, and just help in any way that we can. Okay. I know Ron has stepped out.
Yes, he had.
Yeah.
He had to go back home.
Okay. I was talking to him the other day, and he says that he is going to need some help cleaning the house and doing away or giving away stuff that's in there that he's not going to have use for. And so I told him, at that point in time, he says, I'm not ready to deal with it right now. But he says, somewhere in the next few weeks or so, I'm going to probably need some help. And I told him just to let me know, and we would get the word out and see if we could get people to give him a hand. Okay.
Just for anyone who didn't know, Wanda, who passed, was they weren't married. They're the common law married.
Yeah.
Okay, they were common law married with Ron. So big loss there for Ron, he'll put some more information out, and we'll get it sent out to the community.
Okay.
And Misty said, I heard you say who, just to be clear, Lenny Pierce, Janelle Pierce.
I knew her.
Okay, so she passed away July, and then Teresa Rohde
I didn't know that.
passed in September, and Miss Wanda Murphy passed away shortly thereafter.
So, anyway. Okay. Any other new business? Okay. Then the next item on the agenda is members' comments.
So I did have a couple of things. So we had there was an email that was sent to the board regarding the authorization to share documents with plaintiff's attorneys. That needs to be discussed. That was emailed out to everybody. You should have it. And see, I believe I put a copy. Did I give you a copy, everybody? There you go. It's right there. And it's a single page.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's for you guys to share.
This proposal comes from Jennifer Harris. Request comes from Jennifer Harris. So, dear members of Camp Branch Acres Board of Directors, as a property owner, I would like to respectfully request that the board formally authorize any current or former board members to share with the plaintiff's attorneys involved in Harris and Harris versus Rom and Harrell any documents, files, or recorded communications in their possession that relate to the business or affairs of the association. These could be provided directly to the law firm that requests them. The request follows a recent hearing by the Texas 258 District Court, which granted the plaintiff's motion to amend their original petition to a derivative nature. This means the lawsuit now proceeds not only on behalf of the individual plaintiffs, Mike and Jen Harris, but that the association is now a potential beneficiary of our derivative claims. Authorizing the voluntary sharing of relevant materials, especially regarding copies of documents that have disappeared in a transition of authority, promotes transparency, cooperation, and ensures that the most accurate presentation of the association's records for this case. The association would not require any board member to make legal arguments, interpret documents, or engage in communications with the court or counsel beyond simply providing existing materials if they so choose. This avoids any appearance of ex parte communication or unauthorized legal representation while supporting fair and factual proceedings. I would request timely consideration and authorization from the board regarding this matter at the upcoming board meeting, since the next regularly scheduled meeting is next year. Here is a proposed motion to be considered by the board. Board of Directors of Count Branch Acres Property Owners Association authorizes any current or former board members or consultants to share with the plaintiff's attorneys involved in Harris and Harris versus Rom and Harrell any documents, files, or recorded communications in their possession that relate to the business or affairs of the association. This authorization is limited to the voluntary sharing of existing materials for purposes of accuracy and transparency. It does not authorize any board member to make legal arguments, interpret documents, or engage in communication with the court or counsel beyond providing existing records. This is the request. Any discussions? Yes.
As a former board member, I'm not saying I have anything or don't have anything, but I would not give you anything. Voluntarily.
Okay, well, that's fine. That's your choice.
I would just like to emphasize that this is not compelling anybody. It is emails and other communications that went out to previous board members. There are documents and other records that legitimately were emailed to former board members that somehow are no longer in the possession of the association. So this doesn't compel or ask anybody who does not want to, cooperate. This allows a property owner to share without feeling that the association is going to come after them or that they're going to be threatened by the association for sharing something that they legitimately have in their possession.
I think it's important to highlight Ms. Jen Harris did not hire a lawyer, so she's looking for your assistance to make her case. I would also like to mention, if this is to make a motion, I believe we're back in the same position we were last week with 3 conflicts of interest. So I'm not sure this is even.
I agree with that.
Agreed. And second, y'all keep saying that y'all emailed me. Camp Branch or CBAPOA@gmail.com is the registered name for this association. Am I correct?
Okay, so
CBAPOA@gmail.com.
yes.
At no time, other than when Jerry came to my house unexpectedly, have I ever gotten an email requesting anything. And if you had known, I told him I turned everything over. I left it there at that last meeting. What y'all did with it, that is on you. Everything that is in there is filed for this community is filed with the county, period. What y'all did with it, I have no idea. I gave it to you, and it's out of my hands. Everything was scanned into the G drive. Everything is there. So telling me that I still have something, or implying that I still have something is wrong.
Okay, here's the thing, I will speak up now. The quality of what was scanned into the G drive is poor. It is very poor. What I have requested several times are the legal original amendments that were filed with the county that I know was property of Camp Branch Acre Property Associations that I gave you. Those did not come back to us.
Then I have no idea. If you sent me an email from your personal email, let me tell you, 4 of you board members are blocked from my phone and my emails. I will only accept anything from this association, from CBAPOA, for my protection from you.
Okay, understood.
You did
Where
not
are
send
the
me
original
anything requesting
documents?
that, and I left it there.
Understood. Where are the original documents that were in
I
your
left
possession?
them there.
They were not left there.
Okay, well
They
then,
were not there.
I left them there.
They were not there. I disagree with you 100%.
Okay,
We,
well,
more than just myself, have gone through those documents. They are not there. Not only that, there are files, the empty file folders that were in that file cabinet, legal notices. Those are not there. There are tons of paperwork that was not returned, period.
After
It's not
it was
there.
scanned, they were destroyed. They were so old, they didn't really need to be in
That's
there.
not
anyway.
true. That is not true. Legal documents, the amendments, those have to be kept indefinitely as long as an entity exists.
They were
The
bad.
destruction of that property was not warranted, and anybody that did it didn't have a right to do it.
There was a blue book that was left in that stuff.
No.
What y'all did with it, I have no idea.
Well, you just admitted that you destroyed them, so that's
Older
more,
documents.
that
If it
is,
was
that
over
is
7 or
more,
3 years old,
that is
whatever
more information than we've been given in months, so I thank you for that.
Well, if you did things properly.
All right,
like
that
you're
is
supposed to,
inflammatory, and we don't
CBA
need to do
requesting
that.
information, or even send a letter. A letter hasn't even been sent.
Okay, we can take care of that, thank you.
So, y'all are not doing your part when you say this, so make sure that you clarify what you're doing and not doing.
I thought I clarified it
The
pretty
derivative
clear right
lawsuit, we need to
then.
bring that
From
up.
somebody
Do what?
who
The
didn't-
All
derivative
right, this
lawsuit.
way, board only. All right, thank you, Kelly.
Yes,
This is coming from the horse's mouth where she did not even disclose that her and Harold.
No.
Mrs. Sullivan,
Officially.
Mrs. Sullivan, we can't do that. We can't make inflammatory remarks about individuals or board members.
I'm just stating.
I understand, but we can't do that. Thank you.
She just did it.
thanks. Yes, David?
All of it y'all covered about the association getting involved in this lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of indicated that if y'all won, that we'd get the money back into the subdivision, right?
It's not the board. The board's not doing it. It's not the
I
board's
know, I'm not saying
lawsuit.
the board doing it. You
So
said the
are
money
you-
was
so
coming
are-
back to the subdivision.
Okay, so you're speaking directly to Mr. Harris. Okay.
Or Miss Harris?
Okay, at this point, based on your question, Jen, if she could speak to
So we
this.
are certain claims individually and derivatively pursuant to Texas Business Organizations Code 252 and related authorities. Plaintiffs are members of the unincorporated nonprofit association and bring this action to protect their individual rights as members and through pursuit of their derivative lot rights and seek relief for the benefit of and through pursuit of their derivative rights, seek relief for the benefit of the association as a whole. So we are not representing the association, our lawyers are not representing the association, but positive action on our lawsuit as plaintiffs could be a benefit to the association as a whole through derivative claims.
Not monetarily.
Well, our lawsuit is is an injunction to.
Please do not interrupt.
Our lawsuit is basically dissolution of the corporation that was not authorized.
Which was
It
already
is to
done.
prevent any further attempts to incorporate without the authorization from property owners or the board. And originally it was my legal expenses, but now in the derivative, the association's legal expenses could be considered also.
But
We did do a settlement proposal in June that was not agreed to by defense. That was to just admit that they didn't have authorization, promise not to do it again, and pay my filing fee, which was less than $600 at that time. It has moved forward from there to where there are now significantly more legal expenses.
For a lawyer.
But if you lose, What are the exceptions?
Just to clarify for Mr. Hahn over there, the only legal expenses that the court will reimburse are filing fees and counsel. So yes, it would be for filing fees
Have you
and
hired a lawyer?
counsel. You know what? That is not your business.
Isn't this a private lawsuit? Why
Yes.
the hell are we discussing?
Because
Because
y'all keep
the-
making
It's a
it
private-
public.
It's
Y'all
a
keep
private
making it out there.
lawsuit.
The court
It should
affirms
not
the
be
rights
discussed.
She
for
claims to
our
represent the community.
derivative.
That's why the stand is here today,
That's-
because she doesn't represent the
All right,
community.
David, did you get your question answered? Sorry for all the
no,
interruptions.
because I want to know what would happen if they lose. You
Oh,
know,
there are no
I don't
would we
liabilities.
have to share in it?
No.
There are
Hey,
no
let-
liabilities to
Let her
this.
speak, please.
Yeah.
Answer his question.
No, we are handling all of the liability side of this lawsuit. There would be no liabilities to the association. The only way that the association is, it is affected by the rulings of the judge, and it is affected as potentially a beneficiary, not a liability.
And Tim made a good point. This is a private suit, and we don't really need to be going over it at this point, okay?
My question to that is, two board members, one prior board member, while they were on the board, did an action. They represent part of the community. They were voted in by the community. And a private person is suing someone that's on the board. So I don't think it is a private matter. It is, I don't believe it is private. I believe, and then you're trying to get their protection while they were on the board stripped away.
No,
So y'all are, it is our business, in my opinion.
You wanted transparency, here we have it.
Okay.
This is a frivolous lawsuit that could have, if communication, but no transparency, nobody, not one person asked a question. And those that did got the facts only.
Okay, we're not resolving this, and this is a private suit.
Yes, one more thing.
If it's private, then why did you bring it up anyway?
And why did she ask the board to
go-
do something that's
It's the second meeting in a row.
Can one person speak at a time, please?
Be recognized. I would like to say, some of this stuff happened when I was on the board the last time. There were discussions in board meetings, if people would have been there, then we agreed, not necessarily a vote was brought up, but we agreed that if our association was not in compliance with Texas state law, or we were not in compliance of the law, it doesn't matter about taking votes or going to the community, you have to be compliant. And it was just said, hey, if we're not compliant with the law, we need to get there.
And
So,
Travis,
if those actions were taken after that conversation,
And Travis, I appreciate what you're saying. It is extremely unfortunate. There is not one single set of minutes that reflect any discussion whatsoever about any of that.
That brings up a point that I have.
lies the problem.
That brings up something I had on my list. There was no discussion about filing an assumed name by the board. There was no vote by us. It was just done.
Okay, can we stick, point of order, can we stick to this motion first and then get to that?
There is no motion. There's 3 people on here that are related to or involved in the lawsuit. It's a conflict of interest, so 3 out of 5 can't vote. You don't have a quorum.
Not at all. You and I are involved,
And
we
Jerry's
recuse
related to
ourselves.
you.
It doesn't come into play in this
Which I
matter.
think is completely wrong. There's
Doesn't come into
nothing.
play.
Tried this last time, and Jerry had another opinion last time, now you've done
Okay,
AI
point of
research, you're
order,
coming back with
point of
something else.
order.
Hey, stop. Go ahead.
We're at the property owner's request.
Mm-hmm.
Are we gonna table it? Or are we going to make a motion and vote?
No kings, come on, make the call.
We're gonna make the motion and vote, okay? All right?
To vote on
Another
what?
illegal move.
Mm-hmm. The motion is to Board of Directors authorize any current or former board members or consultants to share with the plaintiff's attorneys involved, Harris and Harris versus Rom and Harrell, any documents that they have that they're willing to share, and it's on a voluntary basis, okay? I have a motion.
A second.
That- Okay, we got a second, so we need a vote, okay?
Aye.
I vote no with the caveat that the board doesn't have the authority to make that motion.
Okay. I vote yes, proceed.
I'm
You
recusing.
can't vote.
Yeah,
Yes,
no, I
The
recuse.
chairman votes in the,
So did you recuse yourself or you voted?
I can recuse myself, it doesn't matter, so it's two that already voted yes, but I'm stating that the board doesn't have the authority to do that.
okay, that's fine,
understood.
okay. Moving on,
I have a question.
yes,
Why do you say they don't have the authority? I'm asking because I don't know.
Because
She's-
they're asking property owners to do something for for a personal lawsuit.
on a voluntary
That's-
basis.
I got you.
But the board doesn't, we can't compel
We're
and
not,
say that this is what but we just made a motion.
that they could do it on a voluntary basis.
But for it's a personal lawsuit, that's what it's
No.
just-
You just said it's
Well, it's no longer
it is.
it's a derivative at the court hearing with,
See what they did, they tried to
So-
change the lawsuit, so now they can try to slip it
So-
You
something.
sue two
Okay,
members
move.
of the board, which constitutes the board of directors.
Record the
At
vote,
that time.
record the vote.
And now you're saying that you're for the property owners.
Point of
Okay.
order. My understanding of this
You can't make
request,
anybody do anything. You
my
can't ask them to
understanding
do
of
that.
this
It's not your business.
request is that the board, under subpoena from an attorney, can turn over any records that the board has.
No, this
No.
says
No.
voluntary.
that is
No.
not,
Furthermore,
No, that's not what it says.
that's not what it says. This is completely voluntary, folks.
That's all it is, it's
all
You
voluntary.
voluntary.
even ask the board to even consider this.
Well,
And
it's-
to,
You keep saying it's a private thing, it's between the, it's not your,
And we're
you're
just-
not involved. But then you bring it up and you try to vote something in.
We just said it's voluntary for any board member, any member of the association to turn over documents if requested and if they want to voluntarily do so. That's all it is.
That's a statement, that's not something that's replaced on record.
and
Okay, it's, we record the vote. Okay, new business. Anybody else have new business or,
I
no?
think she didn't understand the motion, I think we have a problem there.
Yeah, I'm
I
sorry.
She stated she
understand
didn't
it.
understand the motion.
I understand it.
Minimum of a new vote. With
I
the
understand it, my
Fine.
vote stands.
Thank you.
Okay, so I have a couple things that I wanted to talk about. So I'm concerned that things are happening with the board without discussion. So for example, when did we decide that we are no longer going to mail out information or post on the board about board meetings and give 20 days notice? I don't recall that conversation. So we're saying if you don't have an email, you're not going to be notified of a board meeting. How is that fair and how is that transparent?
Well, you're interpreting something that has not happened. What I,
We didn't mail out.
let me respond, please. I'll let you ask the question.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
As I said in the email that I sent back to you when you requested that, that was an oversight. We have never made a decision that we're not going to do it. That was an oversight. We made a mistake, and we looked at the regulations, and the regulations said that if we sent out emails to the people 144 hours before, that we would still be legal. But then we went a step further. We took the list of the people that was noted that they needed to be mailed to, and we called those people, and we went and made personal visits to people to let them know that there was meetings. And some people that we weren't able to do a personal visit, we talked to people who were their relatives or friends, and they said yes, they would make sure that they had been advised. We have not made a decision that we're not going to do this going forward.
Okay, so where's the communication that second step was taken? I didn't know about it. Did you know about it? Did you know we're going door to door or we were calling people? Did you?
Yes, I did. It was taken.
Okay, so you guys made that decision, but none of us knew.
Well, that's not a board decision. We're just being
It's a board
helpful.
discussion, Mike.
I don't need a.
It's a board
Okay.
discussion. We're
We're-
board members
that's
discussing,
why-
simply say,
that's-
hey, yeah, we didn't give notice, but this is what we're gonna do. It's just common courtesy.
And that's why we're
It's
having a
common
discussion
courtesy.
here now.
Yes.
After the fact.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is if this is gonna be done, just simply say, hey, yeah, I forgot, I didn't get the notice out in time, but you know what, this is what we're gonna do. That's common courtesy.
Well,
That's fine. We will make sure that happens. Okay, we have
Secondly
not
is-
made a decision not to mail out.
No.
Okay.
Okay, secondly is,
Can I-
when did we decide we were gonna change the meeting? Last meeting, we discussed it was gonna be at 9 o'clock. We changed it to 10 o'clock, but that was just, I only found out about it in the meeting notice. And then also, the P.O. Box, we talked about, Mike was going to come back with information about the P.O. Box, okay? We just rented it, we got a new one, etc. It was never said, hey, by the way, I found a P.O. Box, this is how much it's gonna cost, just letting everybody know. I only found out about it
we
today.
did an in-depth discussion on that last. It's in
And
the
per
meeting
your
minutes.
meeting notes, you said you were going to look into it and let us know. I didn't know anything. Did you know anything? Okay, so here's 2 out of 5 that knew nothing about it.
No, we discussed on whether it was going to be,
for it,
whether it was going to be in Trinity or
and you were going to
on
look into it
Alaska.
because of the size of the box.
But
Because
then-
you thought the smaller one was too small, you were going to look into it. As evidenced by the meeting notes, you were going to look into it and come back to the board. There was no discussion. It didn't need to be a board vote, but it could have simply been an email. Hey, just wanted to update you guys on the information about the P.O. Box. Was able to get one in Trinity County instead of on Alaska. This is how much it's going to cost. Again, common courtesy.
Okay, I agree with you there. Like that.
Same thing with the bank account.
That should have.
We never voted on where we were going to open a bank account. The last discussion was Charlene was going to look for information about where we could open an account, and then we're going to bring it back. Next thing I know, we got a bank account open. Again, common courtesy. Assumed name. Who decided that was going to be our name? Yeah, they've used it for years, but we've never ever had a tax ID number in that name. Even as far as the old tax ID number was not in Camp Ranch Acres Property Owners Association. So you decided amongst just you, because you filed the assumed name, you decided that you are changing the name from Camp Ranch Acres Subdivision Property Owners Association, which is in C1 of our CCRs. You decided you were going to change that name. And why did you file with the state? Why did you file with the Secretary of State? That's the corporation. You have to file with the county, and you have to file in every single county that we do business as.
No, that isn't. That is completely incorrect.
That is not correct. Here it is,
No.
directly from the state, and anybody who wants to look at it.
You
And I quote,
filed-
in Texas, an unincorporated homeowners association should register its assumed name with the county clerk, not the Secretary of State. A filing with the Secretary of State is only for incorporated entities like LLCs. The filing is likely invalid because unincorporated entities are not required or intended to file with the Secretary of State. The filing has no legal effect on the HOA. Continued liability. Since the filing was incorrect, the HOA and its members may face liability issues. The purpose of the assumed name filing is to give the public notice of the real owners of an entity operating under a different name. Without proper county filing, the notice has not been legally established.
Okay, so,
Why did you file with the state? I mean, it says right here, corporations. It says right here, corporations section of the Secretary of State.
okay, so I have a question.
And when did we decide that was going to be our name?
All right.
The board never discussed it, never voted on it. The property
Okay.
owners never voted on it. It was just decided.
I didn't even know.
Again, to quote what
Okay.
Charlene
It
says,
hasn't changed.
there is no reference board action. There wasn't a board discussion. It's not in the meetings. It wasn't voted on. So it wasn't a board action.
So I have a question here. Are you talking about the management certificate
I'm
or
talking about the
doing,
assumed name certificate that
so-
you filed with the state of Texas.
so
with
the
Secretary
doing
of
business
State.
as?
It's an assumed name certificate, yes.
I'm the one that made that filing, and all I did was reserve the name, and that's not a corporation act.
That is
Okay,
not a
and
corporation act
What did we
at
open the
all.
bank account? Did we use this to open a bank
Okay,
account?
okay, you're.
No, we did not.
So what did we
let's-
use to open the
That
bank
has gone
account?
away, that has expired, we
What-
did nothing with that.
So what did we use to open the bank account in the name of Camp Branch Acre Property Subdivision?
We used our
Association?
bylaws, we used our
But
EIN
that's not our,
number.
that's not our
Okay.
company.
Yes, it
That's not
is,
our
it
name.
was, it was
That's not our name.
acceptable with.
You cannot
Woodward's
legally
National
change the
Bank.
name without a.
You cannot legally change
Yeah,
the
well,
name.
hold
You did it.
Wait,
I did what
You
was
did it.
Please, hey, please.
By what is
Okay.
C1?
Can I
Local
answer
Jackson
here?
established our
No,
name.
you keep changing things here, so let's go back to your
Go
original
ahead, go ahead,
question
Mike,
here.
make your defense.
Now when you go to do a business as, okay, a DBA with the state of Texas, the Secretary of State, what you can do is file, like if you're going to open a business or if you're going to file a name, you can file a placeholder. Okay, that's why
Yeah, it's a
someone.
placeholder for a name, but it doesn't say Camp Branch Acre Subdivision Property Owners Association is now doing business as X. They're not related at all. We filed an
Are you going to
assumed
let
name
me
to
talk here,
establish a name.
please? Just don't keep interrupting.
Because you're putting out misinformation.
I am not
Mike.
putting out
Let's be
information.
clear, I've got the
Wait,
information
wait.
right
Hold
here
on now.
from
Let,
the
hey,
Secretary of
he
State.
gave you a chance to speak. Give him a chance to speak.
If he's gonna give him
If-
misinformation,
No.
I'm gonna correct
No,
him.
you will have a chance to do that after he speaks, if you want to.
So you file the placeholder, okay, with the state of Texas, and then you go and file the doing business as, which we discussed, and which I did for
Who discussed
Camp
it?
Branch A. We discussed it at the board.
No, we
okay?
didn't. There's no meeting
There
minutes.
is-
There's no nothing. We did
okay.
not discuss it.
So,
Maybe you discussed it
there
together,
was a-
but nobody else did.
Would you please?
Did you know about it?
I mean, look, after listening to you and Kelly Rom for years of all your BS and not telling people.
Okay, stop.
Stop. You should.
Hold it.
You know, this is just
Stop.
a
We're done.
nice
We're
little
done.
attack.
We're done.
Nice little attack.
We're done with this. At this
Oh,
point.
next time.
All right. All right.
So again, my question is,
Well, the fact that he did it by himself and not a board decision, because
Didn't happen that way, folks. Didn't happen that way.
you're
Please.
the only individual signature on that assumed name filed in the county, which
signatures
means
are on
you own that name, not the directors of.
It was filed with the county. I had the paperwork last meeting. I will post it under the legal section on the website.
All right.
You filed it individually.
No,
And
ma'am.
according to the county.
No, ma'am.
If
not
an
done.
unincorporated nonprofit has to have 3 signatures,
Okay.
not 1. So
Thank you, Kelly.
I want you to get control of this on both sides, all right? And number 2, I don't understand why this side of our board is not on the same page with this side.
And
I've
we,
already heard 5. I wasn't a part of that discussion, and I've heard 5. We'll get it out to you. And that's wrong in anybody's book of a POA. You're the group of people that's supposed to lead this place, and you don't communicate with each other.
There's some,
Come on,
there's
guys.
some
But Terry, back to you.
There are some inaccuracies that are being spoken right now, and we're gonna have to go back and look at records, but I can tell you one thing 100%. I was told before the new board ever took over, go get us a bank account. You won't be able to do it. You can't do it. We're not that. I was told to go get a bank account, and I went and got us a bank account so that this community could continue to function.
Okay.
And I did it legally, and I did it all above board.
Can you pass that down to those two? All right, well, yeah, pass that down. Here's your copy. Or one of your copies. So basically getting back to the transparency and the board working, I'm going to make a motion.
Well, before we make that motion, okay, I'm okay with that motion, but before we move on to address your concerns, I will make a personal commitment that moving forward, any discussions that take place regarding board decisions will be communicated to everyone, okay? I will personally ensure that that takes place. Now, let's go ahead and move on with this motion, okay?
Motion I make is, I move that there's a copy of that too. Did you guys have that? I move that Camp Ranch Acres Property Owners Association Board of Directors adopt a communication policy stating that all official inquiries, requests, and correspondence shall be conducted via email to ensure proper record keeping and transparency. Text messaging may be used solely for informal and trivial matters or for emergency, time-critical communications, and shall not constitute official board business. This policy promotes transparency, accountability, and compliance with record retention requirements, and ensuring that all official board communications are documented in a verifiable format. One of the reasons I asked to each board member to have an individual email was that text messages don't really have much of a record. So if there's something that's going to be said between board members or to the board at whole, it can be emailed out so that all the board members have it. And not only that, there's a record going forward of all that information that that happens. That's generally the way business is conducted. And using text messages should only be used for very, very simple things. And an example would be, I send a text message to Charlene and say, hey, I'm going to Trinity. You need me, are you going to be through there to check the mailbox? And it's like a yes or no type of thing. That doesn't form a quorum. There's not 3 people involved. And that's a very innocuous thing that doesn't get voted on or anything by the board. Any other things such as, if there's a question as to a meeting notice gets put out, is it late? Has it been done or anything like that? That needs to really be done by email to all the boards or directly to the person involved. That way there's a record, and hopefully going forward, when you have records of all of things, then you stop the did they do it, didn't they do it, and that kind of tamps it down. So I'm hoping the board approves this motion for communication, and we stick to using emails and work with that. Travis.
I wonder if y'all do set this into a policy, that could open up to where if something like what's going on now with litigation, that's going to open up subpoenas to everyone's phone records to make sure this policy was followed, and then who knows what can of worms you could find on people's phones and all that kind of stuff. That's just a concern I have.
Right. So, if there's a lawsuit down the road filed against the board or whatever, that's always a possibility. I mean, subpoenas can get filed for anything and any type.
Surrender your phone.
But not having a record is, it's our fiduciary responsibility to have records, and we represent the folks. So that is our personal protection as board members by keeping track of all these. So yeah, anything board business needs to be tracked, and needs to be, board members need to be accountable, and everything needs to be taken care of and tracked.
And I think it would help eliminate some of this communication that hadn't taken place. So we need to have a motion. I guess you made the motion.
Mike makes the motion. I'll read it one more time here because we're recording this. I move that the Camp Ranch Acres Property Association Board of Directors adopt a communication policy stating that all official inquiries, requests, and correspondence shall be conducted via email to ensure proper record keeping and transparency. Text messages may be used solely for informal or trivial matters or for an emergency, time-critical communications, and shall not constitute official board business.
Question. Does it state on there that you're talking about intra-board communication? Like, this isn't communication from property owners and stuff. This is communication within the board.
Yes, this is within the board. Okay?
Okay, so I gotta ask a question.
Okay.
Only because my internet at home goes down all the time. What happens if we don't have email access and all we have is our phone?
Well, then.
I'm just saying.
No, well, so to that, so then the only thing that should be, the information that should be exchanged is nothing that is truly board business.
Well,
as far as nothing in depth as making decisions or anything along that lines.
I would just suggest that if email is not working and text is, that we make sure that everybody is included in the text. Okay? And state, my email is down, I'm texting you this for this reason. Okay?
Right.
Okay?
And we also have to remember that there's a fine line between when you form more than three people or more as a quorum, and we need to be careful on what business is discussed, because it can be out of a board meeting. So that's transparency for the community, so that community knows that everything is being done here out in the open.
Okay. So, you made the motion.
Mike makes the motion.
Do we have a second?
Just say we just changed the motion to just add that what you said, if email is unavailable, text is acceptable.
Okay.
Provided all members are
Only
included.
in extenuating circumstances.
Right. Yes.
So add, if
Email is unavailable, text may be used, provided all board members are included.
may be used if all board members are included.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Any other discussion on it?
Not on that.
Okay. We'll have a vote. Or get a second. Who's going to second?
I'll second the amended motion.
Okay. Bertha seconded the amended motion. Motion, not emotion. Okay. All right. Votes.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Is it unanimous?
Yes, unanimous. Yes. All right. Okay. Now, do any members want a chance to speak?
I have a question.
Yeah.
What is the name of our current EIN number? What is the name that opened up the bank accounts? And what is the name that this association is going by now?
Camp Ranch Acres Property Owners Association.
Is that correct? And what is the original name that when the original POA was created?
Camp Ranch Acre Property Owners Association.
Actually, C1 says Camp Ranch Acres
Subdivision.
Property Owners Association.
So we are now, at what point
So-
did anybody vote to take out any of the verbiage of the original document?
Our forefathers, way before my time here, in legal documentation, established the CBAPOA, Camp Branch Acre Property Owners Association.
We have that somewhere?
Yeah, on all the legal documents.
No, but I'm saying, do we have?
So my question is, if we already had a working EIN number for the original POA,
That wasn't the right, that wasn't. the
but
name
what
that
about the
originally
one
used.
that, you guys, that was, everything that was filed with the state? That was,
That EIN number was attached to a corporation that was terminated. Shut down, however you want to say
terminated
it.
it.
It was a forgery.
Oh, Jerry, have you investigated?
That's
that for you?
conjecture.
Have you done your fiduciary responsibility?
You don't know that for sure.
Okay, look, I'm not
Hey,
here
stop,
to discuss
stop,
it.
stop.
What I'm here to say is, when we bought our home, we have the audio footage where the IRS is stating that we did not have a functioning EIN number to even operate as a POA when we bought our home. I'm not talking to you.
No,
What I'm saying is, we are not part of any illegal organization, new one, new name, whatever. So until y'all can produce documents that are properly filed,
right here.
where we as members have voted, not where a sole person has went out to do business as, assume this, assume that, we will not partake in it.
Alright,
So y'all
so,
need to get your shit together.
shit's right here.
Mrs. Corley, I can
I mean-
assure you that it is together and everything is filed legally. I personally went and sat with a business specialist at the Internal Revenue Service. I'll be happy to give you his name and his badge. He reviewed all of our documentation and told me and instructed me on exactly what I needed to do and how to file for the legal EIN number. I can assure you.
Well, let me tell you
it was
how
done
I feel.
legally, Mrs. Corley.
I feel like if we're trying to slip in a new POA, that's why we didn't want to sign your little petition or whatever it is that you had to sign for us to be present, because I do not feel right now that this is not an association that we have signed up for.
Okay,
Okay,
We
fine.
basically, I and my husband do not need people to tell me what I can and can't do with my property. Basically, what this community needs is help with the roads and to maintain the access in and out. Why we are getting into all of this, where I have to come get permission to build something on my property, we're not going there.
okay, so
Right.
I
I
have,
don't need somebody to tell me how many people I can have in my house. I don't need somebody to tell me if I can and can't buy anything or sell anything on Facebook Marketplace. I don't need to be governed like that.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you for your comments.
And
Anybody?
that's all I have to say. We've got
So-
Good, thank
you.
your
Let me-
granddaughters here.
let me respond to this.
No,
No, I don't wanna hear anything you have to say.
no.
Listen,
Then-
you're never gonna change your mind.
Well,
Hey,
no, well, what I'm gonna say here is, these are the actual bylaws filed with Trinity County, and covenants and bylaws are the same thing. So, under Section C, Property Owners Association, now I'll clear it up for you here real quick. There is hereby created the Camp Ranch Acres Subdivision Property Owners Association, hereinafter referred to as the association, which shall,
You're collecting dues under what name?
sir, let me finish.
You just did.
Let me finish.
You tried this before and then it went into a grandstand. You don't-
Hereafter referred to as the association, which shall initially be composed of not more than fewer than 3 directors, and it goes on. That was signed by Roland Jackson. It was filed with Trinity on the 30th day of August in 1967. Then, a doing business as, under the Secretary of State, was filed for Camp Ranch Acres. And Travis knows this. You can do doing business as for businesses or any type of group outside of the name that you go by. So typically, under this here, was formed as Camp Ranch Acres Subdivision Property Owners Association. We have a doing business as filed with the Secretary of State for Camp Ranch Acres Property Owners Association. So everything here has been filed and kept up to date with Trinity County since it was signed in 1967. The bylaws are here. They're on file. After the meeting, I will leave the bylaws up here, and I'll have a copy of the bylaws up on the website here within a week, okay? Again, I'm adding more and more legal documents to the site, and then if you feel free, you can go down to the Trinity County clerk, and you can get them to print off their own copy. They have plat maps. They have all the originals. Every update that's been to the covenants and bylaws. But as soon as the meeting's over, I'll put this up here for folks to look at. I can show you where the section C is as well.
All right. Kelly, you're up. Wait, Kelly had her hand up.
For nearly 50 years, this association operated without a legal EIN. Therefore, it legally could not accept the funds that were given. You could not make people put toward this association for 50 years. That put every member in this community at large susceptible to liability. When we found that out, in order to collect any money, we sent these covenants and restrictions to the IRS, and they said our legal name. Somewhere down the line, Linda just showed me, there was an amendment done in 1982. The word subdivision was left out. There are no notes, no minutes, no addendums changing that name. Why Roland Jackson did what Roland Jackson did, I have no idea. I've asked Charles this many times, and he says nobody knew what he did. It was one man that created this association, which made it an unincorporated association. Nowhere in those covenants does it say it's a unincorporated nonprofit. You can't just claim to be an unincorporated nonprofit. You have to have that specific wording. I understand that y'all are trying to slip that in to whatever changes that are being made now. And you can't do that because that's creating a new thing. Now, in July, Mike files this assumed name that the board didn't even discuss, didn't put out. Y'all are accusing us of doing something that protected this community from liability. And you're doing illegal stuff, forming a new illegal entity to run on. And it's not fair to the people of this community. You're manipulating a lot of the elderly folk in here to believe your misinformation, and it's not fair to them. We have a lot of older people dying in here, so new people are going to come in, and they're going to play game to whatever it is that y'all are trying to do. I went and I talked to people. I knocked and talked to people and asked them, what is it you want in this community? We used to help one another. Now nobody wants to even get on the street for fear of being hit. And it's not just us. It's other people in this community as well. They don't know what's going to happen if they get out. Neighbors aren't helping neighbors anymore because of fear of retaliation. That's not how this community was built. We're supposed to be, people just want to come up here. They want to get rid of the bullshit that if it's a weekend home, they want to get rid of the bullshit and come up here in the country.
You got 1 minute.
And just be able to get to their homes, the roads. We tried to put that out to the community, and we were blindsided, and we won't even go into that. But if people would stand up to tell what they were actually talking to me about, we don't want rules, we just want our roads. We don't want rules, we just want our roads. And if people would listen to what the community actually wants, all this other stuff is unnecessary. This is just BS. Suing your neighbor, that's neighbor helping neighbor. That for something that was done to help protect.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you. Time's up. Anybody else? Go ahead.
So I guess just to clarify, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I have a lot of passion, I'm not always correct. The bank account that you're going to attempt to fill with our funds, that's currently filled with our funds, is not the same name that is in, I'm assuming C1, is that correct? C1 says Camp Ranch Acre subdivision, but your bank account says a new, different name, is that correct?
Yeah, you can do that under, as doing business as.
That's not my question. It's that your bank account is separate from the name that's on our bylaws, is that correct?
Continue with your comments. When your time
Please
is
let
up,
the record know.
I'll address every comment that you have.
Yes, ma'am. So, again, to reiterate on that thought, so you now expect to be able to collect dues under a different name. I think that's highly questionable. I think that you're going to face a lot of backlash. In my opinion, you have already committed fraud. You emptied our bank account. You held our money in your homes. You created a new bank account under a completely different name that sounded very similar so that no one would catch on. Mike's new plan is to not only help you with his new bylaws, but to create an entire new set of bylaws, get you to vote on them so that they will now match this name. Does that also sound correct? We need a new set of bylaws to match your bank account. I guess you can go ahead and answer those questions. I don't have much else to say. I'm just highly concerned that you've now committed fraud twice within the last year and you're now holding our money in a bank account that we didn't vote for. Our votes go to Camp Ranch Acres subdivision. I understand that that's not been the common name that's been thrown around here. Again, we don't know why Golden Jackson changed these things. But you are now doing business as a name that has no bylaws. This board has no bylaws. Your bank account has no bylaws. It's fraud. You stole our money. You will not receive any more money from anybody in this community, and you deserve to pay all of our money back. The $5,000 that I raised that was called fraud, nobody ever seemed to raise that again. She shakes her head, yes, but I can tell you I have a man sitting to my right that donated more than half of that money by himself. He knows that money didn't go anywhere. Go ahead.
All right. The bank account name is Camp Ranch Acre Property Owners Association. But whether it was dropped on purpose or by accident,
I'm sorry,
the county recognized, please don't interrupt me.
I think you may have missed.
The county recognizes us as Camp Ranch Acre Property Owners Association. Yes, there are documents that have this, that have that, but the majority of the documents have Camp Ranch Acre Property Owners Association. And let me reiterate, I went and sat with a business specialist at the Internal Revenue Service. I gave him all of our documents. He approved them. He approved us as a nonprofit unincorporated. He gave me specific instructions on how to file for a new EIN, and that's what I did. That EIN is legal. It is accurate. Our bylaws are legal. They are accurate. Every member of this community are bound by those covenants. I didn't write those covenants. I'm just here trying to do my job. That's it. I didn't write those. This isn't personal. This isn't about me. And I want to speak now on the word that, no, you're done.
You had your 3 minutes.
I want to speak on the word that you used, fraud. That is inflammatory, and I have not committed
Seems
fraud.
like the answer is that
Furthermore,
it's not the same that's in your bylaws. Is that correct? It was a yes or no question. You don't need to grandstand once again and make another point.
Okay.
Is the name the same name on your bank account that's on your bylaws?
Furthermore.
Is the bylaws that we put money behind the same name in the bank account?
point of order, please.
Yes.
Is that
You've
correct
had-
or not?
You've had your say. Okay.
No kings, Jerry.
Yep.
Here's the answer to a simple question.
Point
Are
of
money
order,
that we
please.
pay
Hey,
to the
stop,
same
wait.
bank account?
Okay.
It seems like you stole our money, Jerry.
We have not-
It seems like you've opened a
we haven't
bank account
stolen-
with no bylaws.
I might. Do I have a motion to?
I have not committed fraud. That is
Does the bank
inflammatory.
account match the
I would
bylaws?
This is
respectfully ask
exactly
you
what
to
he
please
wants.
not
Yes.
use that word.
Does the bank account match the bylaws?
Furthermore,
I think I made my point.
Thank you.
furthermore,
Ladies, don't
you
be
said that I drained
I
the
asked for
bank
a yes or no, you
account.
refused to give it to me.
You know what?
Goodbye, Cody.
It
We're
is
done.
absolutely ridiculous that board members can be attacked and not be allowed to speak.
You didn't want to allow me to just speak.
this way, doesn't matter if you like it or not.
dues for your fraudulent.
You were gonna pay anyway.
She's not gonna give you
Okay,
the money.
go.
Let us proceed,
Hey,
okay?
stop, hey, enough. Okay, does anybody else have anything that they want?
I would like to speak on what Cody said regarding that I drained the bank accounts and then held them hostage in my home.
That's exactly.
At the board meeting, it was discussed and voted on that First National Bank of Trinity was liquidating our accounts. They were issuing cashier's checks. Whoever obtained those cashier's checks was to hold them securely until another bank account could be obtained. I did my job.
Yes, you
They
did.
liquidated the accounts. They issued the cashier's checks. I picked them up and I kept them securely until another financial institution was obtained. I did my job. Nothing more, nothing less.
And I will say I was completely aware of the entire thing and that she did a great job under a stressful situation. And everybody, every penny of this board was safe the entire time. And it's been in the bank. And the records from before and everything matches money-wise. So,
Yep.
One more thing I want to add. I'm going to go back to the annual minutes because I'm almost 100% confident that it was at the annual meeting that it was voted on and I was told to go and obtain the financial institution. I need
Yes.
to double check that. That has been a question, but I'm almost confident that's when it was discussed, that's when it was voted on, and I was told to go and get another bank account.
and that's the way it was, the way I remember it, yes.
And it's just because everyone doesn't remember that doesn't surprise me because it took me a minute to sit here and say, what meeting was that we talked about that, and I was told to go and get it.
And I do remember that. So, all right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Wait, I'm sorry, we got one over here.
Just two quick things. When you put First National Bank of Trinity bank account, they cut you a check. Who did they make that check out to?
Camp Branch Acre Property Owners Association.
Okay, the second thing is, and it has nothing to do with any of this fun discussion we just had, I had a fellow member come to me and ask a question I didn't have the answer for, but I gave her my opinion. The question was, hey, I want to start a drumming group. Is there anything in the community that would keep me from starting a drumming group?
Oh, and just for additional context, it does have to do with Native American heritage and her religious rights, so.
So my opinion to her was, I don't think there's anything stopping you from doing that. However, if you're doing it at 3 o'clock in the morning, you're not going to make any difference.
There's nothing in the bylaws that I'm aware of that would prevent that.
I just wanted to bring it up so y'all were aware. I told her I would.
Well, just, again, I concur with you. Don't do it at midnight, okay? I'm sorry. Where were we? I was asking for Charles.
From what I can see, on the change of that name from to association looks like it was done in 84, 4th day of December, 84 or 82?
Yes.
It doesn't say why.
Right.
The amendment reads, it just says the following proposal was passed majority of Camp Branch Acres Property Owners Association, September 4th, 82, blah, blah, blah. It goes on through, that's a copy of the amendment. But, back to part of what Cody asked, from what has transpired with these numbers and these accounts, are you guys a different association? That's one question. The other one is, can anybody up there say whether we're what did you call it, a corporation, or LLC, or a non-profit, because there's a big difference.
We're a nonprofit unincorporated subdivision.
And we have that explained to us on the state of Texas website paperwork somewhere?
Yes,
Yes.
I have that paperwork back at my house. I don't have it on me, but yes, we qualify 100%. And not only through the IRS information that he shared with me that day, but Tim and I actually went and hired an attorney, Kerry Hagan. You've been around these parts quite a bit. You may know him. He's been legally representing HOAs in this area for 20 plus years. And he absolutely confirmed that we qualify as a nonprofit unincorporated subdivision.
Yes, we qualify. Do we have our designation from the IRS? Because the only
didn't
way
say
you can be
qualified.
designated as a nonprofit,
I'm sorry.
You
you
didn't say
qualify
qualified,
for
you
it.
said you meet the definition.
Yeah.
Yes.
of
The
a-
definition.
Right, so my question is where have we gotten that legal affirmation that we are a nonprofit? Because the only way you can get it is in your governing documents, which ours don't say we're a nonprofit. I do know that the goal is to change that, so it will, through the Secretary of State, through the corporation, which was terminated, or through the IRS.
There's-
There's only 3 ways you're designated as a nonprofit. So where did we get the
I
designation?
can answer that. So the state of Texas does not designate anywhere or a list or anything of a nonprofit, okay? Because we don't have to register, we don't have to get a name or anything.
We have to have a designation if
No,
we're gonna call ourselves a
no, we don't.
nonprofit.
And it's really simple for the fact that
So
you're
I can
either,
open a business tomorrow and call myself a
Folks,
nonprofit.
it's
if
really-
Texas doesn't require it, that's
it's-
wrong. You're wrong.
if you're a business, no. But that's
But we are
where,
a business.
I'm trying, folks, I'm trying here.
But you're giving misinformation.
No, I'm not. You don't know the information I'm giving. So, okay, look, here's what I'll do. I'll write it up in an email since she's not going to let me speak. And I will give you all the information, and all the legal stuff will be posted on the website as well, okay? The simple fact is you're either a nonprofit or you're a for-profit in the state of Texas. That's it. You're either for or not. We don't make any money. So, therefore, we are a nonprofit, unincorporated designation. There's no list of you have to file and get a nonprofit
That's-
designation.
You will post that information, right? You will send an
No.
email.
You can send an
Fine,
email, then
thank
I'll
you.
send the email with the requirements, because I
Good.
too.
Could you,
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank
please
you.
send me all that information on where we need
It's
to.
on the Texas State website.
Okay.
Send me the link.
Stop.
Send me the link,
Anybody can
please.
look it up.
Stop. Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Wait, I got one more.
Okay, this is Romans 12:18. I think we all need to hear this today, okay? If it be possible, as much as life in you, live peaceable with all men. That's all I got.
Thank you, Randy. That's a good
That
point.
hasn't happened in this community.
Thank you. Thank you.
Be safe.
Okay, now, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Mike makes a motion.
Oh, wait.
I got one statement before you adjourn, but I think before y'all leave, I got there's some brownies over there, I think everybody needs one. We help yourself to the brownies and then leave. There's also water right there, if everybody wants to drink water.
Okay,
Give me this.
okay. I need somebody to second my motion. Okay.
Second.
Vote.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right, we're adjourned.
Okay.